this is risky. But with the rumors that were popping up all over the place yesterday, national media, even local reporters as well, about discussions that have gone on involving Dylan Cease, trade rumors involving Dylan Cease. Well, yeah, if the Padres were 10 games under 500, of course, Dylan Cease would be available, Michael King would be available, Luis Arraez, everybody would be available.
Probably already be gone.
But Padres are not. They're still a game and a half ahead of the Giants in the wild card race and are in good position, at least 50% to make the postseason here. So why would they be entertaining the possibility of trading any of their key pieces down the stretch? There's a chance that Dylan Cease ends up pitching well still at the end of the season, and you would want a guy like that in your rotation. So what is the thought process, Woods, here of Dylan Cease potentially being made available, in your opinion?
I think it's you're not going to re-sign him. He's a Scott Boras client. He's been ineffective. Honestly, he's been ineffective. That's part of it. But the stuff has never wavered. The stuff is still, they do a good job on the broadcast of reminding you, hey, he's still top 4 in strikeouts. I mean, he can still get swing and miss. If you're a team that, and this is what's so weird to say, if you're a team in the hunt, you could use a Dylan Cease. Well, we have a Dylan Cease, and we're looking to move him. So I think it has to do, Ben, with the lack of chips in the minor league system to be able to land an impact bat. And I think a Dylan Cease can help you land an impact bat, which in your opinion, you think that's going to help us more. We can cobble it together with 3 starters, a 4th starter, and then an absolutely elite championship level bullpen if and when we get to the playoffs. I think that's the thinking there. A bat is more valuable, is more important to this team.
It's possible, but there were also rumors yesterday linking the Padres to starting pitching.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton, Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah.
That were floating around. So why would you trade away starting pitching when then you would just go need to acquire starting pitching? And here's what I kind of came away from yesterday. And by no means is this guaranteed to happen.
Correct.
You still need to match up probably in some sort of like 3-way deals or 2 separate trades where you're acquiring and then shipping other pieces out to fill your other needs. You're right. The Padres need a bat, and Dylan Cease may be part of the equation that gets you that bat. But I think that A.J. Preller is looking at a possibility where you subtract Dylan Cease, you add another starting pitcher that can at least replace him in the rotation, possibly save money on the equation, add a bat, and improve your offense. And so at the same time, maybe at the end of the day, at the end of this month, your rotation is better, your lineup is better, and you have not actually added any money to your payroll. That would be the perfect trifecta for A.J. Preller here at the trade deadline. It would require threading an impossible needle, and he's going to have to trade one of his players. And Dylan Cease is probably the one that is the most, as you said, appealing to other teams, just because he still lights it up on the radar gun. He still has one of the nastiest sliders. Every pitching coach in baseball probably thinks, hey, I know Ruben Niebla is the pitcher whisperer, but maybe he's whispering the wrong things. I get my guy in there, couple of tweaks, we are good to go with a potential ace. There are no other aces necessarily that you're going to find at this point. Starting pitching is a little thin. That gives AJ some leverage, but, he can still fill on the back end with someone else. And he's got Michael King hopefully coming back as well, which is, as you said, a huge factor in the thought process, I believe, leading up to the trade deadline.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a couple of guys, Andrew Bailey in Boston and Matt Blake in New York, that would probably love to sink their teeth into one Dylan Cease. Both teams think they're still in it. They think they're a starting pitcher away in New York and Boston. As far as bats go, I think both teams have matchups for the San Diego Padres of bats you could absolutely use. I did see Marcelo Mayer got taken out of the game yesterday, pointed to his wrist. Now that's just one more player now that you weren't going to trade for Marcelo, but you're going to need.
Now they need
to replace Marcelo and this big glut of players that they have. Now they're one down, so that's one less that you can pull from the Boston Red Sox. So yeah, man, it's a crazy week. Not only not only is it a crazy week because, we're going to make moves and add and subtract, it's a crazy week too, Ben, because there are teams fighting for their lives, right? Fighting for their lives. They're trying to prove to their ownership, we're worthy of an ad. We're worthy of adding a starting pitcher. We don't want to sell.
Or so I was going to say, simply just don't sell.
Don't sell.
Let us ride.
Let us ride. This. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't unload the farm like the Arizona Diamondbacks are probably going to have to do right now. So it's just a huge, huge week in baseball.
I see in our chat, not Charlie Morton. I mean, what a huge downgrade that would be from Dylan Cease. And obviously, on the surface, that is very true. You're taking a pitcher in his prime who throws 100 for a 41-year-old aging guy who has struggled. But keep in mind, you're not acquiring any numbers that they've had before. You are simply acquiring someone for the next 2 months. Last year, we mentioned it yesterday, when the Padres picked up Martin Perez from the Pirates, we all thought, what the heck? Why would you add this guy? I don't even want to see him pitch. I'm hoping that he never has to pitch for the Padres.
We were like openly on the air. We're like, what are we doing, man? Martin Perez? Again, he caught lightning in a bottle, and AJ did a good job at catching lightning in a bottle.
And that's
his
job.
That's his job.
That will be what he is looking for. If he pulls off this deal, he's hoping to catch somewhat lightning in a bottle. You don't need a guy who's going to be good for a decade. You don't need a guy who was good or bad in the first half of the season. You just need a guy who you think might pitch well for 2 months for you. And Charlie Morton has pitched in the playoffs before. He's pitched effectively in the postseason before. It's not the disastrous acquisition that you might think it is. Now, it could end up being bad. If Dylan Cease lights it up, he's the guy you want to keep in your rotation the rest of the year. But he hasn't. They haven't been able to figure it out. You might be able to turn him into other pieces or other chips that allow you to trade those for other pieces that can help you more now.
If you move Cease, like whoever fills into the rotation in his place, they won't be a better pitcher.
They won't have better stuff.
No, they won't have better stuff, but they may be more effective.
Right,
correct. Well,
my point is, you're hoping to make up for some of that with the added offensive production in that trade. Whether or not it works, I have no idea.
David J just said, look what he's done, Morton, over the last 6-8 weeks. He's outperforming
Since
Dylan
May
Cease.
10th, he has 9 starts in which he has allowed 0, 1, or 2 runs.
I will take that today, and he's not going to cost you a fortune. And he's got postseason experience now. He's not the massive. If you come away at the trade deadline for trading Dylan Cease for Charlie Morton and you don't get an impact bat, that's not what I'm talking about here. So it's not even that. I don't think it's. Let me ask you guys this: if he went out yesterday and pitched lights out, are we discussing this today? I think the answer is no. I think yesterday, being so uneven, being so kind of out of focus, I think that had a kind of the nail in the coffin for Dylan Cease. I really do. Like, had he gone out yesterday and gone, got 16 out of 17 hitters and went 5 2/3, and you came out with a win, I don't think we're having this conversation.
So what happens when he pitches again on Monday? He hasn't been traded yet, faces the Mets at Petco Park. If he shoves, do you not trade him? Or, does his value go up immensely going, everyone's looking at this last start going, okay, let's pull the trigger. But then you're like, I don't know, do I really want to give him up? Conversely, if he's bad, you go, yeah, get rid of him. Then everyone's going,
I think, again, like I've been saying all year about Dylan Cease, as rough as his year's been, the stuff is still there. And he still gets swing and miss. And he strikes out a bunch of guys. He's valuable. Somebody's going to somebody looks at him and say, change the scenery, get him out of there. Let me work with him. I know exactly what he's doing wrong. Look, all these guys have egos. And when you have raw stuff and talent and a track record like Dylan Cease, you take your chances there. And no fan base is going to rake you over the coals for trading for a 3-10 Dylan Cease. They're not.
Now, today's example is Charlie Morton. He's with Baltimore. So
yes.
I imagine Baltimore, they're not acquiring a Dylan Cease.
No. This would, again, you're threading the needle on a multi-team type of deal.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm so fascinated by how these processes work. Like, is it simply just a 3-team trade?
Or maybe 2 separate deals.
Does he go out and then which happens first? Do you go get Morton first, then trade Cease, or do you trade Cease and then have to go get Morton?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I really don't know how it works. It's so complicated.
What if you could figure out a way to get Ryan O'Hearn, and Ryan O'Hearn is your first baseman, and pick up Charlie Morton as well. And you trade Dylan Cease to this team, but they trade a bunch of prospects to the Orioles.
Yeah.
And here we go, man. Now we're cooking. Now we are absolutely cooking. Now I understand Ryan O'Hearn is a lefty, but I look at Ryan O'Hearn's profile. He's in my opinion, he's knock on wood, can't miss guy. He is a guy that's going to come in and he's going to rip doubles at Petco Park and he's going to drive in runs. He's going to solidify that position. And that then makes maybe Jake Cronenworth expendable, which I would hate to see because I think he's a very valuable player and a great dude in the clubhouse. But again, there are a lot of options for AJ Preller, even though the traditional route of just saying, all right, man, let's I want him. I'll give you 2 prospects, and then I'm going to call this next guy. I'm going to give you 3 prospects. I think that those days are gone, at least this season. He can't do it. He doesn't have it.
Now, the Sandy Alcantara rumors are kind of interesting because he's more in the Dylan Cease category.
Correct.
A guy with amazing stuff who has struggled, and you'd be buying, hoping you could turn him around in the second part of the season. But this would be different. Obviously, the Marlins aren't interested in a Dylan Cease rental either. So, again, this would be 2 separate deals. Alcantara has the benefit of being cheaper, though.
That said, though, he also has the
potential in the future to be a key part of your rotation if you can turn him around.
But he also has the injury concerns that Dylan Cease doesn't. Dylan Cease, for all his faults, he's the Manny Machado of pitchers. He goes out, he gives you 180 every single year. You can count on it almost.
Yeah,
so
there is value in going out every single 5th day and doing 90 to 100 pitches.
Correct, man. There's
every single time,
especially in the year of our Lord 2025, when pitchers are throwing 65 pitches being pulled from the game.
That's what concerns me about trading him is you got to make up for that.
That's right.
Whether or not it's good innings, they're good innings or bad innings, you got to make up for them somewhere, and you better hope whoever you're bringing in is up to the task.
But you have to land a bat. You have to land a bat or 2. You have to. You cannot waste this resurgent year from Xander Bogaerts. You cannot waste this great year from Manny Machado, whose OPS is still 860 or something after yesterday. You cannot waste Jackson Merrill getting it back. You cannot waste Fernando Tatis Jr. with the potential to be a guy that can put you on his back in the playoffs. We've seen him do it. He is made for the big stage. Like
game changer.
You cannot waste this. You cannot waste this championship level, World Series level bullpen that you have. You just can't afford to do it. So you have to get a couple of impact bats, man. And whatever it costs you, I think you have to do it.
This is a conversation that I'm sure will continue in our roundtable today from 10 to 11.
Can you just clip my answer there and
hit play?
And then we'll just play it back.
Yeah,
I'll just hold my phone up and play it back.
This is a conversation that I imagine would be difficult to have tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when Mike Schilt joins us for the Manager's Report. Remember, every other Friday, 9 a.m. here on Ben & Woods. The Manager's Report is refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Mike Schilt certainly understands the reality of the trade deadline, but I can't imagine he's going to entertain conversation about what may or may not happen over the next few days. He's probably going to be, hey, Dylan Cease, he's my guy, until he's not his guy, and then someone else is his guy. So, yeah, I don't think there'll be a ton of nuggets when it comes to trade deadline insight from Mike Schilt tomorrow.
I mean, I do want to ask him, and I probably asked him this last season. I don't remember. I have no memory at all. You're the manager of the San Diego Padres, man. This is in the job description. You need to manage well, you need to handle the media, and you need to be prepared for a flurry of moves at the deadline. It is literally in the contract.
Get ready for no sleep in July.
Yeah. How do you as a skipper navigate that with the guys that are honestly on pins and needles? There's no question Dylan Cease. I know for a fact, Dylan Cease is on pins and needles because I talked to his girlfriend about it at the airport in Philly, and she told me.
You could tell she was not spooked, but
she told me we are on pins and needles. We don't know if we're going to be in Boston or this is 2 weeks ago. We don't know if we're going to be in Boston, New York, Atlanta. We have no idea where we're going to be. So they're literally on pins and needles. Of course, it's going to affect the guy.
San Diego,
and they love San Diego. How could you not? So it is.
That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a really tough time for a lot of guys in that clubhouse that are like, is this it? They showed a picture yesterday of Eugenio Suarez after the game in Arizona, just leaning out over the dugout. He's gone. He knows he's gone. He knows he played his last game at home in front of the Diamondbacks. Rumor is he's going to Cincinnati, which I think would be rad for Cincinnati, but the Yankees are talking about him, and the Dodgers would like a third baseman. So he's sitting there going, this is it. I'm done. So you have to take that into account for these guys as well. And as their skipper, you got to navigate that every single day, of like, what do you do? Like, how does that work? I'm fascinated.